Hey people, what's going on? I'm the Broken Puppet and back with another tutorial for you today. If this is your first time on my channel, make sure you click subscribe. I have like hundreds of tutorials on my page, all kind of sort of tattoo related. I'm sure you're gonna like it. And if you can enjoy this video, just give it a like or a comment, it really does help. But for now, we're gonna do this really cool old school trust no one tattoo. So it's basically the shaking hands where the hand's shaking with the snake and the snake's kind of biting him. It's just a really cool classic, really fun design. I love this one. So to start off with, you're going to get the basics for the shaking hands. So get center point sit. Alright, so here we go people. So I'm going to start off with this shape. So it's going to be kind of like a box with a longer curved side on this side. So it's going to be long here, a little bit shorter and a bit shorter here. So the idea is going to be the basic principle of like the hands. And once you kind of got this shape just here, we're going to create this next little box shape just here. And then another one, kind of getting shorter towards the end, but longer on this point. So this point's going to be longer than this one is. This is going to curve up from here. So you've got this little sort of triangle shape just on this bit. And don't worry about the rest. It's basically going to be the thumb, but the thumb's going to be behind the snake. So the snake's going to be here, and this is going to be the hand. So coming off this bit, going to get this little curve coming here. This line coming here. Just create a curve here. It's basically going to be a little bit of detail just off the back of the hand, just create like an old school kind of pattern with this. And just make it a bit kind of fun. So then on the side you're going to get the snake, so the idea is this hand's going to be a snake head. And it's going to be kind of biting him. So we're going to get this oval shape to begin with. This little kind of curve here, so the mouth's going to go behind this bit. Like so. So we're going to start off with the top part of this head, so we're going to create this curve coming back initially like this. So you've got this one curve coming here, and then off this, going to create some more curves coming backwards, and it's going to help us kind of build off the shape of the body coming back into the hand over here. So once you've done this initial curve just here, in this section here is where we're going to do the eye. So the eye is going to sit in this section just here. It's going to curve on there. I'm going to make this bit of a nose, so when you kind of get here, you're going to get this other sort of curve shape just like this. It's going to curve, and coming off of this line, I'm going to create this curve coming back and looping around this section. So basically the mouth's going to kind of curve around this sort of shape. Here you're going to have the teeth, so you're going to have a couple of teeth just kind of going into the hand. So I'll do a little line like this, and I'm going to do a little kind of like, just kind of curved line, just sort of show that the teeth's kind of into it. Just like so. Shadow is biting him, you can't trust no one, snake's biting the hand as it's sort of shaking him. Inside that eyeball, just going to do a little curved line like this, you'll see you've got a little snake's eye. And just come underneath it, I'm going to create this little curve around it, and that's going to connect up to the top. Real simple but really effective. Inside this curve, I'm going to create a few little curved lines, just kind of curving inside that, just creating the back of the mouth. And then from inside this, these two shapes here, I'm going to bring a line back like so, and then this one's going to curve like this, and then curve again just there. So you're basically dividing into 4 sections, which again is going to create the 4 fingers as it's going back. I'm going to cut this off around here because I want this sort of snake to be biting the hand bit, so I'm going to cut these fingers a little bit short just in this area, just there. So it's biting that bit. Make sure this finger's kind of shown in front of this, so they want this mouth to kind of go behind it, just so it's kind of sort of like creating that kind of like feeling of a shaking hands. I'm going to bring this line back here, and then underneath this I'm going to create these loops. Curving back, make it a little bit thicker. You want to kind of get about the same kind of thickness here, so sometimes it helps if you draw the back part of this first, so you can kind of mimic the same sort of height and shape. So I'm going to do that about the same kind of height just there, and that kind of works for me. So you've got the rough sort of shape and size going roughly the same. I'm going to create this sort of circle behind it, just like this. Going to get this kind of nice red sort of sun effect. And then just underneath here I'm creating those 2 curves like this, making them roughly about symmetric. So the same kind of sort of space between them underneath. And basically going to have the letter, it's going to say trust no one in this kind of gap. So yeah, it's going to make a really kind of cool classic old school way of doing it. So now we've got it done, I'm going to come with a pen and I'm going to sort of show you all the detail bits as we sort of draw it. I'm going to be using a really kind of sharpie, so it's a nice big bold sort of chunky line. You can use something thinner if you want, but I just really like this. It just gives a really nice effect to it. So yeah, so here we go. I'm going to start off with this line, come back here. I'm not going to go too back far yet, because when we do this bit, I'm going to do this bit a little bit differently on how I kind of bump it. But I want to create this nose effect to begin with. So I'm going to have this little curved line like this, creating that nose. Once you've got that, I'm going to create that curve coming back like so. And that's going to give me the basis for doing the back of this line coming like this. I want this nice smooth line coming all the way back to create the back part of the snake. Off this line, I'm going to create these curved lines coming like so. All the way back, just kind of gives the top part, and from that we can kind of create the rest of him. So underneath here, I'm going to create this circle. Underneath that circle, we're going to create this little curved line just here, just kind of sitting near it, so this eye kind of sits in this kind of space. And once we get here, I'm going to bump this around like this, and then each one of these is going to be like a separate kind of bump shape. So rather than being like a perfect smooth kind of sort of, you know, line at the bottom, you get this bit of a kind of bump texture going around. Remember not to go too far, because you don't want to overlap this finger that's going to be underneath this bit. So I'm going to get this finger in now just to kind of sort of like situate it properly. And have a little bit of tooth just there, but this finger's going to sit underneath, so this finger's going to curve across like this. It's going to come back, it's about here, and it's going to curve back, it's about here. This line's going to curve down underneath, this line's going to curve here, come up, get a little bit shorter, and eventually the little finger's going to curve in, just there. So you've got your 4 fingers in there. Curve back that way, and then this part of the thumb is going to curve around the back, so you kind of get that in. So that's the rough sort of shape. Line back just a slight fraction, and bring in this tooth, so this tooth's kind of going to skin just there, and this tooth's in that part of the skin just there. Once to the shading, we're going to sort of show the shape of this a little bit more, the shading, you know, but you want a fairly simple sort of shape for it. Now I've got that, now I'm going to cut a little slit just in the eye, so you've got that snake's eye in there. And just coming off the back here, I'm going to create this line. It's going to be a bit of a kind of wavy line, just for a fun bit of detailing, like so. And once you've got here, I'm going to create this part of the body, so this body bit is going to curve around like so. So you're going to get these big curves like this. Go back until you get into that line for the back part of the hand there. Back part of the hand just over there. So I'm liking how this is looking, got the right nice kind of shape to it. And once I've got this started in the extra little detail bits, so what I'm going to do, just as we get around here, I'm going to mimic this line, going backwards, and in between these lines I'm going to create these little lines, just going through here. Just to create a bit of kind of pattern work, and a bit more interesting. And then when you get back to these part of the hands, I'm going to create these shapes. So I'm going to bring in this line outwards, that curve shape there. I'm going to try and mimic that sort of shape roughly on the other side. You know, get it roughly around the same. Don't worry if it's not 100% perfectly the same. Now we're not going to do the pattern work the same, so we just want it to be a hint of the same thing. I like to make this one a bit of kind of sort of business kind of suit, so I'm going to bring a line here, so this will be like the shirt. I'm going to bring a line across, like so. So you've got like a button on there with a bit more detail with some like fine line stuff, but that will just tell the general story of that line behind there. I'm going to get this curve coming around here, like so. So it's got this nice kind of curve over the top. And this back bit, we're going to create some nice pattern work for this one. Now, I don't want this one to be like a classic sort of suit. I want that sort of suit. I want this one to be different. So I'm going to create that sort of pattern. I'm going to do some old school kind of pattern work on the inside. So it's some really kind of classic old school patterns. So this one's going to be about repeating kind of curves like this. This one's going to have dots in it. I'm just going to do some lines, come down the center of these. That will generally fade out as you get to this back bit just here. Then this back bit, I might create another little section just like this. And and just repeat that with dots, so it kind of encloses it there, I think. Like that. It's got a nice kind of vibe going on there. I'm going to write trust no one in this space, so you got trust, which is 5 letters, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, space 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So basically it's 12, or a combination of sort of 12 between letters and spaces. So get a line in the middle. So you basically want 6 kind of spaces on either side. So we're going to go here, so I'm going to divide that, so it's going to be into 3 sections. So basically I'm just doing the math, so I've got this here, so now I've got 3 sections of 3, and then divide that into 3 bits, each bit. Then you've got like, you know, roughly about even kind of spacing for your letters, like so. And then I can sort of like, you know, start spelling it, so if you want T in the first one. I'm going to make this a little bit shorter, actually, I don't want it quite so long. So I'm going to bring in a little bit, just cut it down a touch. I don't like the letters and tattooing to be sort of too long, not especially the old school kind of ones. It just kind of ruins them in my opinion. So trust, T-R-U, make sure I'm spelling this right. The last one I do is spell something like this wrong on one of these kind of things. I'm sure you never let me hear the end of it. So trust, space, then we've got N, O, space, O, N, E. So yeah, that's roughly about right. So once I got done, I'm going to write it in there now, so just solidify it with pen. I get quirks. I normally mess up my lettering when I'm doing it on a video for some reason. Perfectly fine off camera, but for some reason on camera it always comes out not as good as I want it to. Just no one. Not my best set lettering, but I do. Just get little lines across the top bits. Little flicks at the bottom of them. Should do the trick. There we go. Trust no one. So now I'm going to switch this up. So I'm going to go from the Sharpie to using the Unipin fine liner. This one's a 0.8, so I'm just going to put in some smaller detail bits just to really kind of bring this to life now. So these scale bits at the top, going to mimic these shapes, just coming across, like so. So you're creating this little space on the side of them. Same on the underbelly bit. Just creates a really cool kind of pattern work. And get this little line just down here on this side. So, a little boost, and that one's got like a nice kind of highlight effect. Might create a secondary line just on the inside part of this. Just make it a little bit more interesting on that bit. And then I might make another little line just mimicking this sort of shape. And there. On this bit, I'm going to create little shapes inside these. Just like so. I'm just going to create little circles on each one of these lines. And then I might just create another little line just here. So also put another little line inside the sun. Like that. Now it's going to get my rubber and it's going to rub out all that pencil work now, so we're just left with our line work. It looks something like that. And now I'm going to come in, I'm going to put my shades in there, so I'm going to use some winsor and brush markers. So I'm going to use my blacks. I'm going to use the cold tone shades. You usually get like two sort of variants. You get the warm shades and the cold shades. I generally prefer the cold shades. I sort of switch between them, but at the minute I'm definitely favouring the cold ones. So you basically got the CG4 down to the CG1. It's basically like dark to light. So I'm going to start putting these in. Now there's certain areas I'm going to want pitch black. It's just going to kind of make it, you know, look the way I kind of want it to. So I'm going to start off with this bit just here on top, I think. Pitch black on that bit. And just kind of look around to see if there's any other little bits you want pitch black. So I might make inside these bits pitch black. I think I do. I think I want everything else to be with some sort of kind of gradient. So yeah. So I'm going to start with those bits just in black. You always want to make sure there's at least one little bit that's in there that's black. Till actually last little bit I might do is just inside this mouth, just there. Just black that section out. And yeah, the rest is going to be sort of drawn, some sort of form of sort of shading in certain bits. So I'm going to start off with here. Bring in this black across this way. And I'm basically going to put like a black strip going sideways, and I'm going to come in with the grey tones and just work over that edge so it blends out. And just kind of go down through your tones. You know, I find the side-to-side motion like this is a much better way of getting like a nice good tone. If you sort of tend to flick it out in this direction, you're just going to have a really hard time trying to get it nice and even, and it's going to kind of pretty ruin your image. So definitely use a side-to-side motion. Now trust me, it just turned out a lot better for you. So I'm going to do that this bottom bit just here. I'm going to bring this black across a fair amount. So I'm going to bring it up to about here. And once it gets about here, I'm going to start fading it out. So going with that dark grey, just work over the edge. Remember that it will continue to sort of start grading it out afterwards. So as soon as you start to see it fading, just kind of let it go and let it do what it does. And make sure you've got some nice paper. You know, I generally use Bristol board. Bristol board's really good for drawing on. In pretty much any kind of medium, really. You know, I just love it. If you're using like printer paper, with their markers, paints and stuff, it's just going to probably tear it to shreds. It's just not going to achieve what you want. So I definitely recommend getting some decent paper. Going to bring in that black just underneath that other line now. And I'm going to fade this one out fairly quick. You know, I don't want to drag the sort of shade out very far at all. So literally just work over the line like that. Fade across. I want a little white strip just there. It's just going to kind of make it, in my opinion. So now we've got that done. Oof. Sorry. Just going to get the other little bit. So I'm going to get a bit of black just in here to begin with. It's going to go by section so I kind of feel like I've got the right amount. I want to fade this black out coming through this section like this. And then my black just coming the other way a little bit, just from the tip of it. So a little bit of black just coming from there. Now just go section by section so you kind of feel like you have enough. You want to make sure you have a fair bit of black. Now black's so important when it comes to old school stuff. Now if it hasn't got enough black in there, it just won't look right. You know, it's not going to achieve the effect you want. So I'm going to come here, I want a little bit of black just coming off the corner part of this hand. Just a little bit there. I think I might have a little bit just coming off of here. So yeah, just putting your black and just come in with your grey tones and just go through them. So you just go dark, blend over it to a sort of blends. Just keep going down so you get that nice kind of gradient. Don't worry about markers, I always love working on markers. It's been a long time since I've done my sort of videos like this in markers, so it makes a nice change coming back to these. I'm definitely going to stick with them a lot more, I think. Just kind of makes it fun for me as well for you guys, because I know sometimes, you know, I do the iPad stuff and I will carry on doing the iPad stuff, but I know not everyone has an iPad, so for those who don't have an iPad, it's nice just about to do it on paper. So just try and please everyone a little bit so everyone's got something they can do. If you haven't got an iPad, I definitely recommend them. They are really great, especially with the app Procreate. You know, I do both traditional and digital. You know, I'm not one of those ones who's going to sort of, you know, this, you know, digital stuff. You know, I love it. I think digital is really good. You know, I think anyone who sort of tried digital will kind of fall in love with it and realise that it's actually a really good tool to use. But yeah, this one's traditional. Using the wrong pen. Don't do anyway. This one's a pro marker. Pro markers are good. The only problem is they're not very good for blending. But when you just put in a bit of pure black, they're good for that. Or if you put in a bit of solid colour. But yeah, you're gonna have a really hard time trying to blend out pro markers because they just don't have that brush tip. And the brush tips is what makes it good for blending. Kind of turns it into like a bit of a paintbrush. As with the pro markers, they just got like a flat nib, you know, sort of tip, you know, so it's just almost impossible to get a nice smooth blend with them, really. So yeah, a bit of black just faded from the top section, just there. And I think that'll do. I don't add too much. And yeah, I've showed bits of shade. I think I'm going to do most to do with the colour. So I'm going to put my grey tones away. Don't need those now. So come to colour. Now I'm going to use the colours that I know I guaranteed want in certain areas to begin with. So I know this background here, I 100% want this sun in red. So I'm going to go over this. This one is the red berry. Just going to put that nice and bold over this area. Just there. And then just put the other areas that I know I want this red as well, because I want this red behind the ear. I know behind the eye rather. I know I 100% want it in the belly, so I love a red belly on my snakes. So put it on the belly. And because I've got it on this side, I want to make sure I at least put it somewhere on this side. So I think I might put it in a little strip just here. A little bit of red, then maybe red inside these little circle shapes. I just feel like it kind of brings a bit of continuity to the image when it comes across both sides. I'm going to have a little bit of blood just coming down from here where it's being bitten. Nothing crazy, just a little bit. So a little red line just underneath it. A little bit coming down, and when you get to the end, just make a little bit of a blood dot. Now you can go as crazy as you want, I'm not going to go too crazy with it. So now we've got that done, what colour am I going to go for next? I think I'm going to get my flesh tones in here. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to use the fire brick into the cinnamon, and that's going to go down into the sandstone, dusty rose, and into the blush. So it's basically just going down the flesh tones really. And the way I'm going to do this, I'll start with my knuckles usually. I like to start with the knuckles. So I'm going to put a little circle of colour just coming down from the knuckles, flicking down towards the fingers. Just like this. Just like this to start with. And then I'm going to go fire brick into the cinnamon tone. Cinnamon into a little bit of sandstone, and that's going to go down into the dusty pink, blend that out to a smooth finish with the blush tone. Now the blush will pretty much go to next to nothing as it dries. So we'll start off with the knuckles, then come further down, sort of like fingertips, blend down from there. You can put a fingernail when you want. I tend to not put fingernails. It's really personal preference. But yeah, for some reason when I do old school, I tend not to do the fingertips. Unless it's a female and I'm doing like fancy nails or something. Yeah, I generally won't normally do that. So just get that coming down the fingers like so. And then what I tend to do is just get like a little bit of cinnamon tone. Just come in just a little bit across the other edge. Just kind of give it a bit of kind of sort of circular shade to the fingers. And again, just blend that out. When you get inside the fingers, just here, tend to do a little bit of a circle just around these tip bits. Just blend around those. Just so you get a little bit of shadow just on those part of the fingers. I just find it really helps. Come around the outside part of the hand now, so I'm going to come over here. Come back in with that fire brick. Over that shadow. Come in fairly quite a little bit, along the hands. It's really going to sort of like kind of help sort of tell the curvature of the hands, which is what we want. And just add a bit of kind of richness to the tone as well. So we're going to fire brick into that cinnamon tone. Just going to add a little bit of this just underneath the mouth as well, just kind of create a bit of shadow. A bit of sandstone, just kind of mute the colour for the next level. Into the dusty pink. And then blend that out with the new blush. Like so. Do the trick on the hand bit. So once you got that done, I'm going to come in, I'm going to add some other colours now. So I'm going to start off with the amber. I love this colour. It's like a nice golden sort of tone. I tend to use this when I was using my yellows. It's a very, very rich colour, but I just love using it. I'm going to put this, and quite a bit of this actually. So this is going to go here. This is going to go over the back part of his mouth, just here. It even looks a little white edge just across the back area. So, I'm going to use this also inside these gaps, so where we've got these little bits coming back. It's going to go there, and that one. Also going to use it in that button just there. Now I've got that colour down. Which colour should I go for next? I think I'm going to go for forest green, I think. Now I did a snake, got a bit of green in there. So I'm going to bring this down the centre part of that body. Just in there. Do that a little bit there. I might have green as the background section for this. I always like to have one side of the hand nice and colourful. It just kind of contrasts against the sort of business hand on the other side. Once you got that in there, this background part just here up here, I'm going to put blue. And I'm going to come over the top with another colour because I want to sort of dull it down and change it. Because it's a bit too strong for what I really want in this image. So we'll slightly modify it. Now that's a good thing with like markers, you can really sort of change the colours up. Depending on what colour you kind of put over the top. I'm also going to have this kind of come in across the bottom bits, just here. I'm going to leave a little highlight just on the top bit, just there low. So I've got that, I'm going to get me lilac. So I'm going to use the lilac and I'm going to go over that blue. And it's going to turn it to the kind of colour that I want it, which is just a slightly muted kind of version with that little hint of sort of purpley kind of sort of undertone. That the lilac just makes perfect. Come back to that yellow. Just going to get through that little section just there. And I'm going to come back in now. I'm going to use the fire brick just on a few of the corners. That will blend out into those yellows. So just on the edge parts, just here. And then from those, I'm going to blend those up. I'm going to go to the cinnamon tone. And then I'll hit again with the same original yellow we've done, the amber. To really kind of blend them out. It just adds like a really nice richness to that yellow. And really kind of gives a sense of the curving in little bits. So just come over the whole edge with that yellow again. Just blend out those edges. Like so. So you see it just gives like a really nice kind of sort of curve to them. And I'm looking at, I think I'm going to go blue, yellow inside the eye, I think. I'm going to leave a little white edge just around the outside. Like so. And then to make it a little bit different, I'm just going to get lilac. Just go around that edge. Just going to change that colour so slightly so the eye stands out. Flick a little bit of lilac just here on part of the shirt. And then lastly, I'm going to add some tattoos to the hand, I think. I'm going to get me a fine liner. So I'm just going to add me a, sorry, wrong pen. Go for this one. So I'm going to put some glitter on the knuckles, I think. Little line just through the centre of them on the top. It's got love on the knuckles. And then I think I was going to go for classic kind of old school rose on the hand. I really like doing the old school roses on hands. So I'm just going to bring this line across. 1, 2, 3. Bring another line across. 1, 2. Just going to bring this line curving around like this. Curve into it. Curve off of it. And I'm going to create another little one just coming up. I'm liking the shape to this one. It's a good thing with roses. You can do roses so many different ways now. I literally just make them up on the spot and they all look different. And then curve around just there. Bump this one in. Curve that down there. Bump up. I'll make this one a little bit more kind of pointy, just there. Then just create the outside petals. Pretty much add any kind of tattoo you want really here. I usually use a blue, but I haven't got a blue biro ready at hand. I'm gonna fit in there. So I really like that. Just a little hint of the outside leaf bit just here. Put a few little lines just so I kind of got a hint of what would go there. Same on this side. Just has a little bit of different texture as well. But that will do the trick, people. That is how you draw a Trust No One tattoo. I hope you like it. Make sure to check my videos, check my channel. Like I said, I've got hundreds of tutorials on there if you're new to my channel. If you are new, make sure you click subscribe. Like I said, it really helps. And yeah, just drop me a comment or a like. It just takes 2 seconds, just click like. It really helps these videos out. You know, if you leave a comment, it's really great. If not, don't worry about it. You know, it's just thank you for watching the video, really. You know, I hope it helps you guys. If you're on social media, make sure you tag me in them. I love seeing what you guys do in the videos. But for now, people, I am the Broken Puppet, and I'll see you next time. Peace.